Good afternoon. My name is Jean-Pierre and I'm the host of DesignLounge, and today we're going to be talking about digital wayfinding. And with me, I have Chris Riegel, president of Stratacache, one of the world's leading software providers for digital signing. And next to him, I have Adam Watson, who is president, CEO of WSI Sign Systems and King Architectural Products, manufacturers of some of the leading wayfinding systems around the world. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.
Thank you.
And let's get going. So, Chris, what is digital signing?
Digital signage is using a digital display to put information in front of a person, typically in what we'd consider the out-of-home space. So you're not in your home, you're at a retail location, a hospital location, a mall location, any place where I'm looking to provide information to a customer, to a consumer, and typically using that digital form to replicate or to replace a pre-existing print or hard media form.
Okay, well, I think, Adam, King Architectural has been doing this for quite a while. I noticed in a lot of vestibules or lobbies of hotels and office complexes that you've got some kind of technology. What's that about?
Absolutely. King Architectural Products for the last 20 years has been a leader in essentially digital wayfinding. And we've been using a touchscreen system that allows consumers and visitors to a particular facility to find their way readily and quickly through a facility, through an interactive touchscreen. And we're very excited about the opportunity to expand that capability using more up-to-date technologies.
Yeah, you know, talking about up-to-date technologies, Chris, you know, why is digital signing for wayfinding so important?
I think there's several key points. When I'm using digital for wayfinding, I can more appropriately target the particular consumer, so I can allow the consumer to choose their language. If English is not a first language and I'd like to see my guidance or my location or my path in another language, allowing the consumer to pick from multiple languages. If the consumer might be visually impaired, allowing them to vary the font or the size to give them that information. Providing information that would be relevant along the path. So if I'm coming into a hospital environment to see a particular specialist, where might the closest pharmacy be en route? Where might the best way to get back to my car in the parking garage be? If I'm in a mall environment, if I'm looking for product A, what might be complementary products B, C, and D? So what other information can I provide to that consumer that's of value, as well as information that might be dynamic information? If I'm using wayfinding as an example in a stadium environment, where's the closest bathroom, concession stand? I can use that same device to look at the exits to the parking lot. What's my best way to get out of the stadium? What's the best way to leave the facility or the area based on live traffic cams coming in? So it gives me a much more interactive way to provide significantly more information to the consumer, to that user, and information that's typically of more value to them.
If you applied the digital signing to conventional wayfinding, so what is for you the benefit of this new technology?
Conventional wayfinding is based on hardware that allows a consumer of the information to find their way through a particular fixed facility. And I don't know that that's going to go away anytime soon. I think that we are going to see hardware signage in its current form continue. But digital wayfinding allows us to explore a depth of information that goes beyond the traditional, which allows us to customize or personalize the information that's provided to the consumer and be quite aware of the context in which the information is being provided. For instance, in a busy, complex environment that lends itself to a greater degree of information than could be provided through the traditional means, that allows us to provide information that allows someone to be welcomed and guided through a facility far more effectively than a traditional signage program would do.
Marrying means it's a balance between new technologies and existing technologies. So if I were to ask you, what's the best use of both? You know, if you were to project out and look at the best application of digital signing using current systems, what would you recommend to a potential client?
I think that the marriage with traditional systems in facilities that are, or with clients that are experiencing a complex facility or a very dynamic facility. I think that the best type of system is one where the overall messaging is still provided through a traditional wayfinding system, but a depth of messaging is provided through the digital media. It allows for constant updates, so perhaps a richer experience, perhaps, as I say in the instance of hospitals, a more welcoming environment, so that there isn't a searching or a pointing for facilities, but the information is delivered directly to the client themselves.
And I guess with the younger generation getting older and who have been brought up on looking at digital as the primary form of communication, that's going to play a much more important role.
Absolutely, absolutely. There'll be an enhanced comfort level, I think, with digital over time, and particularly as the devices or the media in which the information is conveyed becomes simpler and more ubiquitous, that comfort level will only increase.
You're probably wondering, what are the different types of digital signing systems? Chris, do you want to talk about, what are the platforms that are out there and what are the pros and cons?
Right. Typically with digital signage, you would look at 3 different generations. The first generation being PC-driven, what we'd consider an older class of device, that being a commodity standard PC running Windows or Linux, driving that digital sign, driving that interactive experience. That's generation 1. Generation 2 being appliance-based. Appliance-based devices being smaller, less expensive, more reliable devices. Lower cost and higher reliability is making the Generation 2 equipment replace the Generation 1 legacy systems. Generation 3, which will really start to kick off in 2010 and beyond, is integrating the media player capabilities, storage and processing directly into the displays themselves. So instead of having to have a separate media player device and a display, fixturing into a common device at the display that is an intelligent display.
Intelligent display, it does what?
Intelligent display can display messages, can have interactivity, can run all of the functions of a fully featured digital sign, but is a lower cost, more integrated, more seamless platform for a customer to use as the back-end technology. It's really very simple. Once a system is put in place and as you're provisioning that system, determining locations, determining messaging strategy, you can automate significant amounts of the playlist on an ongoing basis to take data from, whether it be news sources, whether it be databases on location of particular teams within the hospital, particular offices within the hospital. You structure or set out the playlist initially to be able to automate data input and make it as simple on an ongoing basis to operate. Then you can also allow particular departments to have delegated authority to put up particular messages within a playlist that have been approved based on standard templates or based on existing setups or existing layouts that you would like that carry through the message and the form that you'd like for that.
So